Deputy U.S. Marshal Custis Long, aka Longarm, barely returns to his post in Denver before he's given another assignment. A town called Los Perros on the U.S.-Mexico border is the last known location of several Army soldiers and a Texas Ranger, all of whom disappeared without a trace. What Longarm finds is a tiny town on the banks of the Rio Grande that is essentially the private fiefdom of a man named Tucker, who is the sheriff, judge, mayor, and one-time Confederate raider, just to round things out. Tucker controls the town through his loyal, if hot-tempered gun thugs, and by being morally adaptable. Keeping his identity and mission a secret, Longarm undertakes his investigation, discovering the disappearance and Tucker's authority may be tied into the Laredo Loop, a cattle rustling conspiracy that moves back and forth across the border. In order to chase down his leads, Longarm will have to follow the trail into Mexico, where he'll have no backup and no jurisdiction. I read this book as part of June on the Range, a rough-riding reading event created by Michael K. Vaughan to celebrate stories in the Western genre. I'll have links to his channel, along with everyone else on YouTube who's riding with him. Be sure to check out their videos too, and like, comment, share, and subscribe, or the algorithm will work up an old number 6 on them. Even though this is the second novel in a long-running series, it already feels formulaic. It has gunfights, chases, and prison breaks. The book is also what Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads calls a naughty western, because it also contains more than 100% of the USDA recommended daily servings of sex. It has all the requisite components of a rough-and-tumble western, but for me, it felt mostly lifeless. I think my difficulties with this book are the result of Longarm not having much of a personality. I do not mean he is a laconic western hero who keeps things close. I mean there are only hints of anything like an interesting character. For instance, early on we see he's cautious and a man of habit. Other than one later scene that's meant to be humorous, we do not see these traits meaningfully influence him or the story. In fact, for a man who's supposed to be cautious, he makes a lot of snap decisions and poor choices. For me, his most interesting characterization might be entirely unintentional. On multiple occasions, Longarm goads and cajoles people into reaching for their gun so he can shoot them down first because he's faster on the draw. This makes Longarm less like a heroic lawman and more like the sadistic gunslinger in Shane who torments and kills the farmers and ranchers at the behest of the antagonistic cattle baron. Make of that what you will. The middle section of the novel drags on too long and requires too many lucky breaks for Longarm that the book doesn't really earn. The shame here is that it did not need to turn out this way. Instead of being lucky, if we saw Longarm used established aspects of his character, or if he had to change and grow in some substantial way, the events would have felt more satisfying. As it stands, we get spectacle, but without any sense of thrill or engagement to go with it. There are worse books, to be sure, but I was hoping for just a little more depth. But what do you, the audience at home, think? Are you a fan of Longarm on the Border, or the Longarm series in general? Am I too critical, or are my expectations too high? What else are you reading for June on the Range? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my peculiar notions. If you appreciate this channel and want to support it, You know what to do, amigos. Until next time, read some good westerns. Live and be well.